Welcome back to another episode of Ben's Garage. Here we have the Husqvarna 435, the only chainsaw in the world that runs backwards all the time. Why has this happened? I shall tell you why. Let's move that out of the way. Like a pillock, me, I ordered a new coil for this. I ordered one for a Husqvarna 435, you know. Turns up, fits it, get it all built up, new piston, barrel, job the lot. It fires up, and then I noticed that the chain's running backwards. So I scratched my head, I thought, well, I definitely tightened up the flywheel. So anyway, after a bit of head scratching and a bit of research, I went back to the part that I ordered, and it had a part number. So I was trying to cross-reference that, and I went onto Husqvarna's website, and normally they're quite good. You can actually get really good PDFs with all their machinery, with all their exploded diagrams and part numbers and everything. The part number for the coil that I ordered for this saw was for 2012 and before. So I thought, I bet this saw's newer than that, isn't it? Of course, on the front of these Husqvarna saws, just here, you've got a little plate. And what's it say on there? 2013. So the coil that is on it is for a pre-2012 saw. Table's a bit wobbly, isn't it? So here we have a coil for a Husqvarna chainsaw, a Husqvarna 435. It does fit other models as well. 2012 onwards. So I'm going to pull this apart. It's really quite a straightforward job. It's nice having my tools here as well. What do I want? A screwdriver. Let's pop this top off. Top comes off. Now you take the puller thing off. What's it bloody called? The pull start. That's just a set of bolts. Hopefully we get this up and running. I'll get it tuned up and I can go back to him. He's not back out here for about 6 months. Oh, I'll tell you what I have got, which I'll make use of. Sod it. There we go. Magnetic tray. Oh, lovely. It's nice, isn't it, having everything all together in the right places. I did a bit of research, and it was a bit of a thing that I've never ever had a two-stroke engine fire up backwards and run backwards in all my years of working with chainsaws, strimmers, I've had no end of two-stroke motorbikes, but apparently it's quite a common thing. It's just never happened to me. A two-stroke engine will run backwards, but this one was running backwards all the time, which on a chainsaw is not ideal. You could obviously turn the chain around the other way, but that's not what you want to do, is it? So let's take that off. We've just got a little cover here with the wires just clipped into it. That just lifts off. And here we have the coil, which, is it the same? There's one of them. There's one of them. Pull the plug cap off. And there's the old coil. Now, is there a difference? There is a difference. The posts on the new one are not as big. It's the same sort of shape and everything. It's got the same terminals on it. I will just check to make sure that the flywheel's tight. 13. I think it is. Yeah. It's nice having all my tools just there. So, to fit the new coil, you've got your flywheel, and there's on the flywheel you've got like a bit of magnet, it's fins all the way around, but on 2 pieces there's like a flat bit. So, and there's one that's got like a funny metal bit on it. So I want to turn that round. Now, best thing to use for this is a business card. You probably can get feeler gauges and stuff like that for it. What I will do though is just plug that on, because that'd be easy to do that now. That's on there. Best thing to use is like a business card. Just tuck it down around by the flywheel, because obviously it's magnetic. So when you push that in there, like so, I can't see what I'm doing now. I've just blocked all the light out. That goes in there like so. And you can get the bolts back in. And the piece of card, or the business card, just sets the gap, if you like. So they probably do a feeler gauge or something that'll fit in there. I'm not really showing you much here, am I? So what we'll do is, that's there. I'll just tighten this down. Let's just tighten up the other side. Just make sure that the coil's snugged up against the card. Tighten that up. You don't have to go too tight, it's just enough to hold it. Oh no, I still need that. And then slide your card out, and there's a gap there now, and that will go round quite nicely. And as it passes the coil, generates a spark. So all we've got to do now is put it back together. So let me see. That goes back on. Get the wires clipped back in. It really is that simple. Don't need this light now. Don't want to go too tight with these screws because they're just screwing into plastic. The recoil pull thing is a new one. It was as cheap to buy the new cover complete with all the ratchet and everything in it than it was to buy just the ratchet gear. So that's what I did. Put the plug cap on. Now, how confident am I that it's going to start? That confident, we'll put the lid on. That can be a little bit tricky getting that back on with a plug lead. It's got to be routed a certain way. Now, moment of truth time. So that's the old coil. I'll keep that as a spare. That can go in the ever-growing box of spares. So let's see. How do we switch it on? choke on, give it a few pumps. Give it a couple more pumps. That, I would say, is a success. I've got to tune the carburetor up. I'm going to do that. I'll do a different video how to tune up the carburetors on the chainsaw. It is quite straightforward, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can cock the job up basically. It is a bit, it's not a fine art, but you've got to set the low jet, you've got to set the high jet. There's no in between on these, it's either idling or flat out. So you set your low up and then you set your high speed so that it, now this might sound daft, you set up a 2-stroke so that it sounds like it's 4-stroking. And then when you put it into the wood, the 4-stroking sound clears, and that is when you've got like maximum power. I'll try and explain it better in the video when I tune up the carburetor. The best way to tune it up is with cutting it in a bit of wood. So I might get the sawhorse out, get some wood set up, and we'll have a go at tuning it up. There is a special tool for tuning up the carburetor on these. It's because they got like, there's just like 2 posts that stick out your carburetor and they got splines on. I have got one in the other toolbox, but I'll do a separate video on that. This one is just the chainsaw is running and it's going the right way around. So Mr. Dibbles, when you get back out here, we'll have a chainsaw for you. I'll give you a bit of training before you get using this, and don't forget your PPE. It's like teaching your grandmother how to suck eggs, isn't it, really? But at the end of the day, he's never used a chainsaw before, and they can be bloody dangerous. I mean, I don't use one ever so much anymore, now I'm in the wheelchair, but we were using them quite a lot, and I've been using them for years. You can't ever take your eye off the ball when you're using one. But yeah, so I shall give him a bit of training how to use it, what to do, what not to do, and if he then goes off and cuts his leg off, then it's up to him then, isn't it? But yeah, I'm happy about that. It's running the correct way. On the old coil, the posts were just a little bit closer together and they're a little bit thicker. So whether that makes a difference to it, if you'll see a previous video where I did it on this, every now and again it would go the right way around. You'd rev it up, when it idled, it was sort of almost cut out and then start running backwards again. So I think that the tolerances on this coil was so close that, but it's not the right one. So that's going to go in the parts. This is now running. I'm going to get it tuned up. And that's it. So I've got his strimmer to fix and I've got his rotavator to look at, but all in good time. He's not back out here for another 6 months, so yeah, I'm quite happy now. It runs, and it runs in the right direction. So there we go, the Husqvarna 435. It is an x-torq. What difference that makes, I've no idea. But so that's it for this video. We'll get that tuned up and that's good to go. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.